Spider, I think you mentioned earlier that you're from Windsor, Ontario. If you would give me a little feedback on what was your upbringing in Windsor, Ontario? You know, if you knew Alis Porter, if you hung out in Glengarry, if you knew Uncle Charlie and his boxing club. Where did you actually get all this from?
Well, I grew up in Windsor, and my father was a full-time post office, a postman, and he was a part-time Baptist minister. So we grew up in a Christian upbringing. There was 9 children in our family, 6 boys and 3 girls. And our cousins and relatives lived all around us, so it was kind of cool growing up. I mean, we didn't have a lot. We were fairly poor. 4 or 5 of us slept in one bed, but you know, we had our good times and troubled times just like anyone else. Windsor was a border town, so there was a lot of racism there, but there were a lot of good people too. And Emancipation Day was a big deal for all of us back then, especially in the black community, because it was a 4-day celebration, and people came from all over, and they had a huge parade. It always began with a huge parade, and bands would come, and these brass bands would come in, and I tell you, they could play that music. They'd come from all over: New Orleans, Chicago, Philly, Detroit, Atlanta, Georgia, and they would be marching down the main drag, and they would be just like you'd see a group like Earth, Wind and Fire, or the Tower of Power, or Kool and the Gang be blowing them trumpets and doing the steps. It was something else, and they'd all converge upon Jackson Park. And at that time, Jackson Park had a massive grandstand, and that's where they held a lot of the entertainment. I mean, we had so many big people come up. Martin Luther King came to Windsor for that one year. We had all the great Motown acts, Smokey Robinson and Dinah Ross and the Supremes. They were all there, and all these important people. Mr. Walt Perry was the one that put it together. It was a lot of work, but a massive celebration. And one year we were singing on a street corner in Windsor, 5 of us. And a guy walks by by the name of Larry Shreve, who later became Abdullah the Butcher, famous wrestler. And he says, "Man, you guys should be in that Emancipation Day celebration." So, well, oh man, no, we're not. You guys are good. Because everybody sang on the street corners back then. Doo-wop was the big thing, and because we just lived across the border from Detroit, we got everything off CKLW. So long before Toronto and all the other Canadian cities got that music, we were getting it. And so he kept bugging us, and we finally said, "Okay, we'll go in." So he registered us for this contest. Now remember, they had groups from all over. This was a big deal. This would be like American Idol. This was huge. That was 1960, the summer of 1960. And so there was Melvin Davis, Tommy Kersey, Warner Talbot, Buck Morgan, and yours truly. And I selected the name the Galahads. And we were pretty good. I mean, we were very good singers. The steps were great. Well, not at first, maybe I'm exaggerating, but the harmony was phenomenal. It was. We had great 5-part harmony. Well, anyway, one of the friends of Abdullah the Butcher, Larry Shreve, his cousin Buster Shreve, had a friend in Detroit, the co-founder of the Spinners, Barry, what was his name? I believe his name was Billy Henderson. That was his name, Billy Henderson. And the Spinners at that time had just come out with one, they only had one hit out, That's What Girls Are Made For. It was before they got into Could It Be I'm Falling in Love and Rubber Band Man and all them other big time songs. So Billy Henderson comes across the border and begins and teaches us how to, all these different steps. And our choreography got really good. And so I'll never forget the night that we appeared at that Jackson Park stage. The five of us, and I mean the place was jammed. And we had on these nice dress shirts and black slacks, but we couldn't afford a pair of dress shoes. We didn't have it in the budget. So they went out and bought us 5 pairs of iridescent slippers with hard soles. And it was so cool. But the biggest thing was, at that Emancipation Day celebration, we won. The Galahads won. And it was a feeling I'll never forget. It was such, we were so overjoyed to win this in our own town and beat out all these American groups. And that lives with me to this day. So, but that Emancipation Day celebration, back then to me it was just about that. It was about celebrating. I didn't understand what we were celebrating. I thought we were just having a great party. Because, you know, we weren't taught this stuff in school. So I didn't know Emancipation Day represented the freedom of the slaves. I didn't understand that reaching that point, many had suffered, sacrificed, died, been beaten, been spit on, been attacked. People that fought for our freedom. So Emancipation Day means so much more to me, and that's why when I say Happy Emancipation Day, Happy Emancipation Day, I mean, we must thank God that we had people that fought for our freedom and sacrificed for that freedom. So I say to you, Happy Emancipation Day. Boxing, to me, was never a passion. It became a way of life. It became a lifestyle. I liked the training. I didn't like getting hit. I had friends that boxed and they did much better than me. Charlie Stewart, out of Windsor. Charlie Stewart became the Canadian light heavyweight amateur champion. Clarence Talbot did fairly well too. Good puncher. Look, I fought in Golden Gloves tournaments and won them. I stayed in the gym and I trained. I had the opportunity to spar with a lot of good pros, which is in itself, it was an honor. I loved the gym, but Spider Jones did enjoy getting hit. People used to ask me, what do you hate about boxing? I said, getting hit, getting hurt. It's a hurting game, as Sugar Ray Robinson used to say. But you know, I was always in good shape because I trained. But music was my passion. I always wanted to share that vibe with the world. From the time I was 10 years old, when I saw the Alan Freed bring his show, the great disc jockey bring his show to Windsor, the Windsor Arena, and I had a chance to see Buddy Holly and Frankie Lyman and Chuck Berry and Little Richard and all those groups, and I saw Alan Freed introduce these groups. I thought, wow, that's what I want to do. I want to get on stage and I want to introduce all these great singers, these entertainers to the world. And I got a chance to do it. I got a chance to open up for the Temptations. I got a chance to open up for Percy Sledge, who sang When a Man Loves a Woman. I got a chance to open up with the Young Rascals, who did Groovin' on a Sunday Afternoon. And I got a chance to open up for Jerry and the Pacemakers, who did Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying. And it was just to meet these people, Tina Turner and Brenda Lee and all these big names. I got my opportunity to do that, and that's what I wanted to do. And then have my own music show. And These were dreams that became reality that a little guy out of Windsor never thought would happen, but they did. Well, I've been very fortunate over the years. Last year, I was given the Order of Ontario, and I never saw it coming. And I remember someone saying, you should have the Order of Ontario for what you do. But look, I do what I do because I enjoy what I do. That's gratification enough to be able to give somebody a better life than you had, or be able to help lift them up. I know what it's like growing. I mean, when I was fighting to get a gig in radio, I ran across a lot of discrimination and racism, and I thought, you know what? I'm never gonna let this happen to other younger people if I can help it. We deserve the same breaks. I'm not looking for a favor, but I believe it's very important to understand that when I pursued this dream of becoming a radio broadcaster, I didn't understand about education then. That a million other people wanted the same thing as I wanted. I thought I could get there on skill alone. That's not happening. Your will has to be as strong as your skill. You gotta want it. And when I finally woke up to that fact, see, because everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Translation, they're not willing to sacrifice. My father used to say that to me all the time, and I finally caught on one day and woke up and went back to school at 33 years old because I wanted to be in radio. I didn't care about the boxing and the Golden Gloves. That was fine. That's not what I wanted. I never thought for a moment I was good enough to make it as a pro, because I sparred with pros. And some of them guys would, at half my size, whip me like it was my daddy. Who wants that? But I knew in the music, that was my vibe, and I wanted to share it with the world. And look, I'm 78 years old, and I got to tell you something, and this is so true. As long as I'm living, I'm going to keep giving. As long as I'm breathing, I'm going to keep believing. Every day I get up, I try to set a new goal. My wife and I opened the Spider's Web about 10 years ago because during my speaking engagements, I was blessed with the ability to be able to inspire young people, light a flame in them. But you got to feed that flame, that passion. And I thought, many of these young people that I had met didn't have somebody to do that for them. They needed a safe haven, and they needed a place where they could come in and how do you say it? Experience personal growth. So we opened the center. We opened it first of all as a place where they could have a nutritious meal and have a homework program. Then we began to include reading, writing, other computer skills. And then we got into sports and entertainment and arts. So it's well balanced there. And it's free. We don't charge a nickel. And our money contributions do not come from the government. They come from the corporate world. And I've been very blessed to make a lot of connections in the Toronto area through my years in radio and in the media, and I've met a lot of great people who have helped us, contributed to us, and that's why we're able to keep our doors open. But I can tell you, the young people come in there, and you can see many of them first come in, they have maybe a learning disability, they're not doing well in school, but by the time they leave that place, they have caught up, because we don't all learn at the same pace. And so, there's no, the education system is getting better, but we still have to understand that people do not process information at the same pace. That's the problem I had growing up, failing grade 3 and 4. People thought I was dumb. They said it right out. And I began to buy into that. No child is dumb. We need to show them love, and we need to mentor them, and we need to help them build their social skills. And we do that through the Spider's Web Youth Empowerment Center.